Good morning, everyone. Happy Supercharged Manifesting Monday. This is a little different for me. I'm trying to figure out where to look. All right, I'm just going to sit here and talk, and hopefully it all works. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday from Jamaica. I have literally asked the entire hotel to be completely quiet so I can do this video for you. So hopefully you're grateful because everyone, like all work has stopped around here so that we can get this done. All right, you guys, hang on a second. Let me see the comments so that I can say hi to wonderful and amazing people. Oh no, that went away. Anyway, I know that you're all here. So this morning we're talking about thoughts for success. And I've been inspired to have this conversation because, and I apologize today, I'm using Diane's laptop. I have no idea where the camera is to look into it. So I really am looking at you. If it's weird, I'm sorry. All right. So I was saying that this conversation got inspired um, when I was in our level 2 coaching program recently, talking with everyone about what do you really think about your business? Because I recognize that sometimes we're in a pattern with manifesting where we're trying to create something and we just sometimes can't figure out, well, what is it that I'm not doing, what's getting in the way, and there's so many little things that it could be. And if you just don't, it's like literally if somebody just showed you like this is the combination, it would all work. So sometimes I just want to have these conversations that bring some light, shed some light on, or it's this maybe it's this one thing. And this morning that one thing is thoughts. um, the Science of Getting Rich says thought is the only thing that can create tangible riches. Thought is the only thing that can create tangible riches. So if you're here, I love in the comments, if you could all just start typing that, because I want you to get that. Like the first layer of manifesting is your thinking. How are you thinking? Thought is the only thing that can create tangible riches. So once you understand that as the foundation, I realized that one of the keys to me being able to really step up my manifesting game was to work on my thinking. And I also realized that there's not a lot of support around how to think. Like, okay, everybody would say think positive. And believe it or not, I don't know if this was the case for you, but think positive for me was very like I don't get it. I don't think I think negative. I don't understand what you mean when you're saying think positive. And so I just became, as you know, those of you that know me well, I became committed to understanding what does positive thinking really mean? How do people think in a way that create the results that they want? Because they're thinking something different. They're not thinking like me. How are they thinking? What is their process for really sitting and mastering how they think? Because thought is the only thing that can create tangible riches, however you define rich. And that's another piece that I just want to throw in there before we go any further in the conversation is, what does rich mean to you? And along my journey, it has meant a combination of things. And I just want to share this with those of you watching this morning. Like, I wanted to be happy. That was rich for me. I wanted to love myself. I wanted to look at Tasha, however, wherever I saw her, and love her. To be able to love myself was the equivalent of millions of dollars for me, right? So I wanted to be happy. I wanted to love myself. I wanted to be financially successful, yes. So I wanted to be wealthy, the traditional definition of rich. I wanted that. And I wanted a business that the way I measured success was, yes, that the business was financially profitable was very important. That I'm just all the things in one when it comes to success. That was my definition of being rich. And the Science of Getting Rich is the first layer in creating your definition of being rich is to master the way that you think. So I just started looking at people. I'll never forget, there's this lady on Instagram that I reached out to because I looked at her and I'm like, she's thinking something different than me when it comes to self-love. She is so, I mean, literally just to watch the way that she loves on herself, and she's totally fine with how she looks and how she's being and how she shows up. You literally, she's just like a walk-in testimonial for self-love, and I wanted it. And I realized she's thinking different than me. I remember my friend Giselle. I remember saying to her, "Are you just so happy all the time because you are so rich?" And she was like, "No, I'm so rich because I'm always happy." It's like, wow, that is a different way of thinking about it. She thinks differently. You know, I look at people who are healthy, who have had health challenges and totally transformed their lives and their health and their well being. How do you think differently? And they are thinking thoughts of health. So I started to realize that it's not cavalier, just think positive. Like, that's not enough. You actually have to be able to master thinking how you want to think in the area of your life where you want a different result than what you have right now. So this morning, I'm going to share with you the 3 steps that I use, because yes, everything is a process for me. The 3 steps that I use to really work on my thinking. And I want those of you that are watching, I want you to identify an area of your life where right now you're trying to manifest something, and it is, not yet here in the physical, right? And maybe especially if you've been waiting for it for a while, and especially if you've done everything that you can possibly think to do, and you're not seeing any evidence, it's not manifesting. I just want you to use this 3-step process to go through it. So step number 1 is, and this is in perfect alignment with my favorite quote from Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins says, the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions that you're willing to ask yourself. The quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you're willing to ask yourself. So that's why I was like, I'm not asking myself the right questions. Like, how do I think more positive is not the question I should be asking. That's not the question to be asking. How do I think more positive? That's not the question. Here's a more powerful question. And so this, for me, I'm going to give you, I know we always talk about money, so I'm going to talk about that too. But for me, I think the most drastic realization I had about how I was truly thinking was when I asked myself, Tasha, what are you thinking? Like, clearly, when it comes to a relationship, you're not yet able, and this is in the past, you're not thinking the thoughts that's creating the relationship that you want. So instead of going, well, I need to think more positive, I ask myself instead, I go, what are you thinking? So question number 1 in this 3-step process is to ask yourself, in the area of your life where you're trying to manifest something, you're trying to have success in this particular area of your life, whether it's your business, a relationship, your health, loving yourself, whatever it is that you have wanted to see a different result and you haven't experienced it, ask yourself that question. What are my dominant thoughts about that area of my life? And for me, I realized my dominant thoughts, as much as I was doing the journaling, the visualizing, the taking action, the doing all the things, left to my own, when I was just sitting around, my dominant thoughts were that I didn't deserve the kind of relationship that I wanted. And that's just the truth. I had to be honest with myself. I really, really, really did not think that I deserved it. That was what was going on in my head and my thinking most of the time, that I don't deserve it. Right? So think about that. When it came to self-love, here I was admiring this woman and the way she loved on herself. And then I stopped and I said, Tasha, what do you think about you? It was not very loving. Those thoughts were not very loving. And that's just the truth. So sometimes people will tell you think more positive, and I'll say, well, become aware of what you actually are thinking. What are your dominant thoughts? Like in our coaching program, we did this exercise for business, and people, when they just sat back for a moment and became really honest about what they were thinking about their business, it was pretty raw, real. But here's the thing, they understood, because they were honest with themselves about what their dominant thoughts were. They understood, if thoughts is the only thing that can create success, that can create riches, that can create happiness, that can create whatever it is that you want. And you stop for a moment and become aware of your dominant thought in that area. And if it's not a thought that's in alignment with what you want, that is a massive first step of awareness. It's like you just turned on the light in a very dark room. Now it all starts to make sense. Well, if I'm not thinking the thoughts that are going to lead to the results that I want, duh, no wonder. We just get to love ourselves about that, you know? But if you're not, step number one, being aware of what your dominant thoughts are, you can't even get to the place of fixing the thought, right? So step number one is and I would love for you all to type this. Step number one, ask yourself, what are my dominant thoughts about blank? What are my dominant thoughts about being in a happy, healthy relationship? What are my dominant thoughts about success in business? What do I sit around worrying all the time? I can't do it. I won't do it. I don't have this. I don't have what it takes. I don't have enough money. What are my dominant thoughts about financial success? What are my dominant thoughts about that? What are my dominant thoughts? I'm looking at the comments and I want every one of you watching live or the replay, literally make yourself type, just typing the question. It's like it goes into your subconscious mind and it creates a blank sheet of paper, right? And it puts a question on a blank sheet of paper and your subconscious mind must serve up the answer to you. So this gives you an opportunity to go even deeper than your conscious thoughts around what am I thinking. It allows you to go into your subconscious mind and get an even more powerful answer. Like, what's really there for me around how I'm thinking about this? And here's what's powerful about doing that. When you ask yourself that question, step number two is you get to look at the results in your life. So you might say, what are my dominant thoughts around financial success? Well, I'm always worried if I can do it. My dominant thoughts are really always around lack. I don't have enough. I have so many outstanding balances. I don't, like my business isn't growing. I'm not making enough money. Those are my dominant thoughts about money. That's what you might have an awareness around. And then I'll say, okay, so look at your results. Because what you're going to see 100% of the time, your dominant thoughts will match the results that you have in your life. Always must, 100% of the time, perfect alignment, always, period, end of story. So what are you always thinking? And then just go, let me look at the results in that area of my life, and it'll be a perfect match. And that's what I love about this work, is that it's really not rocket science. I always say when people tell me, oh, I think this, and oh, I know I deserve it, and oh, I go, great. Show me your results. Let me see your results, because your results are going to tell you what you really think. What do you really think? So step number one is to become aware. What are my dominant thoughts? Step number two is to look at your results. And it's going to be a massive eye opener for everyone I know, because it always is for me. Like for me with the relationship thing, I was like, I don't believe I deserve an amazing, happy, healthy, wholesome, wonderful man. My dominant thoughts are that I don't really believe I'm doing all the things, I'm saying all the right things, but in my thoughts constantly, I'm thinking I'm not pretty enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not slim enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not whatever enough. Right? I don't have all the things, and really what I'm really saying is I don't deserve the kind of man that I am wanting. And so I had to go to work on those thoughts. So once I became aware of those thoughts and I wanted success in a relationship, I looked over here at my results. I looked at the guys that I had been attracting. I looked at the men that I had been dating. I looked at my marriage. And it's like, well, there you have it in black and white. My results are a perfect match for what I'm thinking. And so the beauty of this process of learning how to master your thoughts is that you can like re-engineer them, right? You can go back to the beginning and go, step number 3, what do I want to think? What do I want to think? I've become aware of what I'm thinking. I've seen the results that it's creating in my life. I don't like them. That's not really what I want. Now I get it. I'm not getting what I want because I'm not thinking thoughts that create what I want. So step number 3 is, okay, well then what would you want to think? What is it that you really want to think? And I realized in relationships, I really wanted to think. I truly wanted to walk around with the constant thought of, I deserve it. I deserve all the things that I'm asking for in a relationship, right? I'm here in Jamaica, which I've been telling. We're here on retreat with our elites at this beautiful property. I hope I have a chance to show you guys. 111. And, I was thinking as I was preparing for this, like, what are the thoughts that I had to change so that I could be here in this beautiful tropical paradise with beautiful people that I love, having the most amazing time, doing incredible transformational work. I am not here because I thought thoughts that were out of alignment with this. I knew this was a result that I wanted for myself and for our business. I wanted to have the kind of business that would allow me to travel. I love to travel. I wanted to think thoughts that said, I can be on vacation with people I love in beautiful places and it still work. Like, how cool is that? But I had to think like that to be able to get this result. And I remember when I couldn't even think like that. I remember when I charged $25 for 90 days of coaching, and then I drove to meet the people, and then I gave them stuff to write. And I could never imagine at that time, with that level of thinking, that anybody would want to go anywhere with me. Right? And be willing to be in an experience like this. And so I realized I wasn't going to get here without changing the way that I thought. I had to work on how I think so that my external world would be a reflection of that. And that's what I want to inspire all of you this morning, is to really start looking at how it is that you're thinking, and realizing that successful thinking is really a thing, and there's a process. One, I'll repeat it for all of you. One, what am I thinking about that area of my life? Two, look at the results. And three, ask yourself, if I could wave a magic wand, what would I really want to be thinking? What is the new thought that would create the result that I really want? You have the answers. You can figure that out. I promise you. That part's easy. And the fact that it's the first part of manifesting, and a big part of manifesting, I mean, you are absolutely so well on your way if you can work that part out. So today's a new moon. Take some time, write some powerful intentions around how you want to think going forward, and just get to it. And then the other thing that I want to say is, as you know, on June 11th, when I get back from Jamaica, I'm so excited. I'm going to be doing a healing money trauma intensive. So 2.5 hours of me just showing you sometimes the way you think is actually trauma related. It's like you're thinking thoughts that you don't even want to think, and it's creating results in your life that you don't want, but it's rooted in a trauma. What if I could show you one thing, just one thing of all the things we're going to do for 2.5 hours? But what if I could show you one thing that could teach you how to revise that trauma, how to revise the memory of it in the depth of your subconscious mind, so that your thoughts going forward are now based in what you really want to think, based in you being empowered, you really being in full control, versus the trauma running your finances or any other area of your life, right? So if you're still not registered for that, go ahead and type the word healing. Type the word healing in the comments, and you will get the PDF with the 16 different money traumas. It's really important that you identify which of the 16 you have, and then you'll also be able to get an opportunity to register for the intensive. All right, so that's going to be June 11th from 12 Eastern, and if you can't make it, it'll be recorded. So as long as you're registered, you'll get it. And one other thing I want to say, I believe you can also go to moneytraumahealing.com. Moneytraumahealing.com will also get you registered. But type healing in the comments, because I do want you to be able to get the opportunity to get the PDF too. All right. So by From Jamaica. Hold on before I go so you can see this. I shouldn't be the only one to enjoy all this. Look at that. Hang on. Look at that. Isn't that magic? That's everything. That right there is rich. Whoops. So hope you can all be with me sometime in the future. Have a great Monday. Mwah. Bye.